In recent years, China has made enormous strides, transforming itself from the world's factory into one of its foremost technological powers. This has been especially true in military technology. The expansive military parades celebrating China's achievements look impressive, with gleaming stealth fighters, precision formations, and confident displays of power. The star of those shows is the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon, China's first and most advanced stealth fighter. State media celebrates the J-20 as proof that China has joined the exclusive club of nations capable of building fifth-generation stealth aircraft. The specifications sound competitive, with similar size and configuration to American fighters, advanced avionics, stealth characteristics, and long range. China claims to have over 300 J-20s in service, the largest fleet of stealth fighters of any non-Western nation. But lingering doubts remain about how well this impressive-looking aircraft actually performs. Defense analysts point to major flaws that make it far less of a worthy competitor to the NATO jets it was built to counter. The J-20 was designed primarily for air superiority, specifically to counter the United States stealth jets, the F-35 Lightning II and the F-22 Raptor. However, there are 5 major flaws in the J-20 that make it unlikely to be a worthy adversary in practice. So is the J-20 less than what it is made out to be? Today, we will examine why the cornerstone of China's Air Force might actually be a flying paper tiger, impressive in parades but questionable in combat. Let's start with the most fundamental problem: the engines. Because no matter how advanced your airframe design or how sophisticated your avionics, if your engines can't deliver the power you need, everything else becomes irrelevant. Developing modern high-performance jet engines has long been the Achilles heel of Chinese aerospace output, and China only started making serious headway in developing jet engines domestically relatively recently. As a result, the original J-20s were powered by Russian AL-31F engines, reliable enough for their time, but far from optimal for a cutting-edge stealth fighter. China's goal was always to power the J-20 with domestically produced engines. But when development ran into various snags and delays, they opted for the Russian AL-31F as a stopgap. Later variants used the improved WS-10C, China's own engine design, which represented progress but still did not deliver the thrust and performance needed for a true air superiority fighter. The engine China really needed, the WS-15, has been in development for years but only recently started entering service in meaningful numbers. According to defense analysts, while the WS-15 shows progress and some J-20s now operate with these engines, the rollout has been gradual. Most of the J-20 fleet likely still operates with earlier, less powerful engines. Why does this matter so much? The F-22 Raptor is powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines, each producing around 35,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. These engines give the Raptor its world-renowned speed and its ability to supercruise, flying at supersonic speeds for sustained periods without using afterburners and with a full load of internal weapons. This is an area where the F-22 has literally had the J-20 eating its dust for years. Without engines matching F-22 performance, the J-20 cannot supercruise effectively, cannot maintain energy in sustained maneuvers, and cannot generate the sortie rates necessary for sustained operations. Engine reliability directly impacts how many aircraft can be kept mission-ready, how quickly they can be turned around between flights, and how confidently pilots can push performance limits. According to sources familiar with Chinese military aviation, the biggest issue with the J-20 remains engine-related, even with WS-15 integration progressing. The engines are less reliable than mature Western designs, require more frequent maintenance, and create bottlenecks in operational availability. Even though China officially has 300-plus J-20s, you almost never see large formations conducting realistic training exercises, likely because maintaining engine readiness across the fleet remains challenging. Now let's talk about stealth, because this is where the J-20's design compromises become most apparent. The J-20 includes many stealth design elements: a nose radar dome optimized for low observability, an electroconductive cockpit canopy designed to reduce radar signature, serpentine air inlets that obscure the engines from radar, internal weapons bays to avoid external ordnance, creating radar returns, and radar-absorbent coatings across the airframe. On paper, these sound competitive with Western stealth designs, but the devil is in the details, and those details reveal significant weaknesses. First, the J-20 is large. It measures 75.46 feet long, compared to the F-22 at 62 feet, and it also has a wider wingspan. In stealth aircraft, larger size is generally a disadvantage. The more surface area you present to radar, the harder it is to minimize your signature. Every additional square foot of aircraft creates more opportunities for radar waves to reflect back toward the source. Second, earlier J-20 variants have exposed engine nozzles and lack the serrated edges and shaping found on Western stealth aircraft. Those nozzles are a primary culprit in increasing radar visibility, especially from the rear. Later J-20 variants show improvements in nozzle design, but much of the existing fleet still retains this vulnerability. Third, China has conducted extensive public displays of the J-20, including flyovers, airshow appearances, and static exhibitions. In 2023, China staged its first static public display of the J-20 in Chongqing province, allowing close examination of details that were previously visible only in recorded footage. Those displays let adversaries collect valuable data on the aircraft's radar signature. Western intelligence services can position sensors to capture detailed electromagnetic profiles during demonstrations. Every flyover and every public appearance provides data that undermines the aircraft's ability to operate undetected in contested environments. Defense analysts believe the J-20's overall radar cross-section is likely larger than the F-22's, perhaps significantly so. In May 2018, Indian Air Chief Marshal Birender Singh Dhanoa claimed that Indian Su-30 MKI fighters could detect a J-20 multiple kilometers away using their radars. While such claims should be treated cautiously, they suggest the J-20's stealth characteristics may not be as robust as Chinese propaganda suggests. Let's examine the avionics and sensor fusion claims, because this is where Chinese marketing collides most dramatically with physical reality. Chinese state media and affiliated outlets have claimed that thanks to breakthroughs in silicon carbide semiconductor technology, the J-20 can now detect F-35 and F-22 aircraft up to 435 miles away. They say the J-20 radar far exceeds the capabilities of AESA systems found on American fighters, like APG-77 on the F-22 and APG-81 on the F-35. Here is the problem. Detecting stealth aircraft at 435 miles is virtually impossible due to the realities of radar physics, atmospheric attenuation, and the exceptional low observability of the F-22 and F-35. The F-22 and F-35 are designed specifically to defeat radar detection. Their radar cross-sections are measured in fractions of a square meter. Some estimates suggest they appear on radar as objects the size of a golf ball or a marble. For a radar to detect such small, carefully shaped targets at 435 miles would require power levels and antenna sizes that do not fit in a fighter aircraft. APG-77 on the F-22 and APG-81 on the F-35 are extremely advanced AESA systems, but their effective detection ranges against low observable aircraft are typically estimated at 30 to 60 miles under good conditions, not 435 miles. The 435-mile claim is almost certainly propaganda, designed to reassure domestic audiences and intimidate potential adversaries. The reality is that detecting stealth aircraft remains extraordinarily difficult, and Chinese radar technology, while advancing, has not leapfrogged decades of American research to achieve breakthrough capabilities Western systems lack. Beyond pure radar performance, there is the question of sensor fusion, integrating data from multiple sensors to provide pilots with a unified real-time picture of the battle space. This is where American systems have enormous advantages built on decades of experience and continuous refinement. In the F-22, pilots benefit from a proven top-tier sensor fusion system powered by advanced processors that seamlessly integrate data from multiple sources. Those sources include the aircraft's own radar and sensors, infrared and ultraviolet missile launch detectors, defensive systems, and data from other aircraft and platforms via secure data links. The J-20 reportedly has sensor fusion capabilities, but effective sensor fusion requires long experience, a robust software development ecosystem, hardened supply chains, and plentiful flight hours across complex scenarios. These are all areas where China is accelerating, but has not yet demonstrated parity with U.S. programs that have benefited from decades of iterative development, combat testing, and coalition data sharing. Less effective sensor fusion means reduced situational awareness and slower reaction times. In air combat, where split-second decisions determine outcomes, even small advantages in sensor integration create decisive superiority. Now let's talk about something that might seem surprising. The J-20 has limitations in close-range combat. This matters more than you might think. The J-20 was designed primarily for long-range interception and air superiority missions, with an emphasis on engaging targets at distance using advanced missiles like the PL-15. Chinese doctrine envisions J-20 aircraft operating as standoff platforms, detecting enemy aircraft at range, engaging with beyond visual range missiles, and avoiding dogfights entirely. This is a reasonable approach given the aircraft's design priorities. The J-20's larger size, canard configuration, and engine limitations make it less agile than the F-22 in high-energy maneuvers. The F-22 excels in dogfighting, with tight turns, rapid energy transitions, and knife fight scenarios where superior thrust-to-weight ratio and maneuverability decide outcomes. But here is the critical problem: you do not always get to choose your engagement conditions. If electronic warfare, terrain masking, or tactical circumstances force J-20 aircraft into visual range engagements, they are at a significant disadvantage. The aircraft's design prioritizes range and payload over agility, which is fine when you can avoid close combat, but fatal when you cannot. Making this worse, the J-20 lacks an internal gun. The aircraft has no built-in cannon for last-ditch close-range engagements. This makes the J-20 heavily reliant on its sensors and long-range weapons. If those systems fail or are defeated, the aircraft has no fallback option for close combat. In contrast, both the F-22 and the F-35 feature internal cannons precisely because professional military planners understand that air combat does not always go according to plan. Having a gun does not mean you want to use it. It means you have options when unexpected situations arise. The J-20's lack of an internal gun and limited close combat performance are not necessarily fatal flaws if Chinese doctrine works perfectly, but they are serious vulnerabilities if J-20 aircraft face competent adversaries who can force engagements into visual range. Finally, let's address what might be the J-20's most fundamental weakness: the complete absence of combat validation. You may have noticed that none of the claims about the aircraft's performance, including engine metrics, stealth, sensors, and combat results, can be independently verified. That is because the J-20 has never engaged in actual combat. not against peer adversaries, not in limited conflicts, and not even in realistic adversary training against dissimilar aircraft. Never is the right word. By contrast, the F-35 has seen action in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and other theaters. The F-22, while used less frequently in direct combat roles, has been involved in extensive training exercises spanning years, including red flag and other realistic combat simulations against peer-level adversary tactics. Unlike the J-20, whose performance remains largely theoretical based on simulations and scripted training scenarios, American fifth-generation fighters have been tested under stress and unpredictability. That empirical data makes it possible to assess how the aircraft perform, what their limitations are, and how to employ them effectively. The J-20's public record is largely speculation. Chinese state media releases carefully curated footage showing the aircraft in ideal conditions. Training exercises are scripted to demonstrate capability without exposing limitations. No foreign air forces operate the J-20, so there is no external benchmarking. The aircraft has not participated in multinational exercises that would allow direct comparison with peer platforms. This isolation is sometimes portrayed as an advantage, keeping Western adversaries uncertain about actual J-20 capabilities. In reality, isolation is a major drawback because it limits the feedback loop necessary for iterative improvement and reduces opportunities to test interoperability and adaptability with other segments of China's military. According to former U.S. Air Force General Kenneth Wilsbach, who led Pacific Air Forces, even the J-20 with the new WS-15 engine is not something to lose sleep over. That assessment from a senior officer who spent his career analyzing air combat and adversary capabilities reflects professional military judgment that the J-20, despite improvements, remains significantly behind American fighters in the ways that matter for actual combat. So what does all this add up to? What's the real assessment of China's premier stealth fighter? The J-20 is certainly an achievement. China designed and built a large, modern fighter aircraft with stealth characteristics and advanced avionics. That represents genuine progress in Chinese aerospace capability. The aircraft looks impressive in photos and videos, and it demonstrates China's growing technological sophistication. But when you examine specific capabilities, engine performance, actual stealth effectiveness, sensor fusion maturity, combat maneuverability, and combat validation, the J-20 falls short of the F-22 and the F-35 in ways that would prove decisive in actual conflict. The engine situation, even with WS-15 progress, means the J-20 cannot match the F-22's performance in sustained, high-energy combat. The stealth limitations, particularly in some areas and against mature adversary sensors, mean the J-20 is more detectable than Chinese propaganda claims. The sensor fusion and avionics, while advanced by Chinese standards, likely do not match the proven combat-tested systems American pilots rely on. The close combat limitations mean J-20 aircraft need to win fights at long range or risk a severe disadvantage in visual engagements. And the absence of combat validation means everything about J-20 performance remains unproven, impressive on paper, and unproven in reality. This does not make the J-20 irrelevant or harmless. In certain scenarios, operating over Chinese territory with ground-based support, engaging less sophisticated adversaries, or conducting standoff attacks against targets without advanced air defenses, the J-20 could be effective. But against peer adversaries flying F-22 and F-35 aircraft, supported by American battle management systems, electronic warfare capabilities, and decades of tactical experience, the J-20's limitations become critical vulnerabilities. The impressive appearance does not match combat reality. The paper specifications do not translate to battlefield superiority. The bottom line is this: China has built what looks like an advanced stealth fighter, but looking advanced and being combat effective are different things. The J-20 demonstrates China can design and manufacture sophisticated aircraft. It does not demonstrate China can build fighters that would dominate in actual combat against the world's best. The 5 major flaws, engines, stealth, avionics, maneuverability, and combat validation, add up to an aircraft that is more of a paper tiger than a genuine threat to American air superiority. Impressive in parades, questionable in combat, and significantly behind the fighters it was designed to counter. Do not forget to subscribe for more analysis cutting through military propaganda to examine actual capabilities. Thanks for watching.